I got complacent. I got really complacent. And I'm almost embarrassed to admit this to you all today, but in light of everything that we do here at Renada, I'm all about transparency and never profess to be perfect. We're working on it, but it's never going to get there. Good day, I hope you're doing well. As the video title says, anxious traveling, technical redundancy. For those who know me, they know I suffer with anxiety. And what that means for me in my day-to-day life is that I typically take precautions. If I'm traveling, I have redundancies in place. I know how to get around. I do stuff like I always go on Google Maps before I travel and know where I'm going and exactly the surroundings and where the nearest shop is and the hospital. And I do all these crazy little quirks that make me feel more happy. The problem is I've never really applied this to my technical life. Quick background on me before we get stuck into what happened. For 10 years in my career, pretty much, I've been in IT. And for a lot of that, I was in charge of IT departments. So a lot of my work revolved around disaster recovery, business continuity, high availability, replication, all the things that mean if something bad happens, how do we recover? How do we quickly get back online again? The problem is I never really applied this to my own personal life, which is embarrassing to me, honestly. But hopefully you'll take something from today's video once I tell you what happened, how it happened, and then the next video, which I'm going to do after this one, is going to tell you all the things that we've done to make sure this never happens again. So let's get stuck into it. So last week, Tuesday evening, I was in Jersey with one of our amazing partners, and I was set to fly out at 7 a.m. the next morning. At 8 p.m, we were sat in a lovely tapas restaurant, and as one does, I got a notification, pulled out my phone, and dropped it on the floor. I made a slight joke going, could you imagine if my phone screen cracked? Because all of my boarding passes are on my phone. To jinx myself, and lo and behold, my phone screen had smashed and I couldn't interface with it at all. The problem is the following. My boarding passes were on my phone that I have to scan at the airport. My alarm to get up for the airport at 6 a.m. hadn't been set yet on this phone. My sat nav from Manchester to my house was reliant on my phone. Any large payments over, I think, £75 or £100 require me to fingerprint my phone to authorise the payment. A lot of my security, if not all of it, was reliant on MFA tokens and biometrics on my phone. So I'd pretty much secured myself out of my life, is the reality of it. And I'm just going to talk you through very quickly what went through my little brain in 30 seconds of realising that my phone screen had smashed and I was a little bit stuck. So the first thing is I had to get a plane at 7 a.m. the next morning. There was no shops to go buy a replacement phone. There was no way I could get my boarding passes as I perceived it. So I kind of went into meltdown mode. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the airport and print them off there. And they're going to want my reference number, which I don't have. And I was like, this is a nightmare. So the next thing was, fortunately, as with one of our amazing partners, and they are an MSP. And they had a spare device and they had a printer. Fantastic. I can go there, get a spare phone and print off my boarding passes. Problem one, the boarding passes. The boarding passes were stored on my phone in the EasyJet app, which is fine, but the password for that was stored in my password manager, which is locked behind MFA on my phone that I couldn't access. If I try and reset my EasyJet password, it goes to my emails. So we start at the emails. Connor, you need to get into your emails where, ironically, the boarding passes are, or where the reset password is going to go to. The problem is, I don't know my password to my emails. It is stored in my password manager. It's a long string of characters, numbers, and loads of other gumph. I don't know it. And also, if I did know it, there's also MFA on my phone for my emails that I can't get into either. So we go, right, you need to get into your password manager. This is where all of your passwords are stored and where a lot of your MFA codes are also stored. The problem is I need to MFA on my fingerprint to get into there. Not a problem, you think. Connor, you'll obviously have recovery words or recovery method for your password manager. And I do. I just stored it in OneDrive, which is locked behind the same mechanism that I can't get into. So you think, not a problem. You'll probably have a break glass account for Office 365, so you can get into your Office 365 in dire emergency. And I do. but I stored the credentials in my password manager. And if you start connecting the dots, there's a loop here going around where I need to be in either service to retrieve either service, but I can't get in either of them. Now, luckily, I have Robbie employed, and Robbie is a global admin in my 365 tenant. So he could traverse all of these security things and get me back into my life, but I'm lucky. I also, a few months ago, due to my lovely fiance messing up, decided to store all of my, MFA codes in the cloud, Google Cloud. If you have Google Authenticator, you can back them up to the cloud. Fantastic. And I also set her up as a recovery account. And I don't want to go into all of my life so you can hack me, but essentially I had things in place. It wasn't foolproof. There was definitely issues here. All I saw was I was stuck in Jersey. I didn't know anyone's phone number because who knows them. I didn't know how to get back into my life. And if I hadn't have been lucky, genuinely lucky, I would have been a little bit screwed. Even extending to the fact if you're a one-man band with a break glass account, if you set up conditional access, you can't do anything outside of the country. Yes, you could VPN through, but just take it as it is. So what's the point of this video, Connor? What is this ramble all about? I like to regard myself as very cautious. Due to my anxiety, I'm quite a cautious character. I also like to think I was pretty good at my job when we was looking at DR, if I could speak, disaster recovery strategy plans and business continuity plans. The problem is I just haven't applied it to my own life. Now, if I class myself as pretty good at doing this stuff, what does that mean for the rest of the world where people don't think about this type of things? What do your customers have set up in situations like this? Now, I think there could be a great business for this. I'm not going to pursue it. Someone else can do it if you desire. But we need to open the conversation up a little bit, in my opinion, to what if your phone breaks tomorrow? What does that mean for you? And what does that really mean for you? And try and plan out your life in case of emergency. So hopefully next week I'm going to publish another video telling you all the things I've done as a result of this. If you're American, you'll be very familiar with ICE cards. I think they do translate over the pond a little bit as well. There's all sorts of things I'm going to be setting up in my life. So hopefully my anxious travelling will start to have some technical redundancy. And that is the title of today's video. I've been Connor Fagan. I wish you all a fantastic day, good health, and I will speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.